John Ambrose lost. Nicole discarded. Juliana sidelined. Cam Cameron erased. Marius villainized. Are you starting to notice a pattern? Jenny Han's franchise. To All the Boys I've Loved Before, The Summer I Turned Pretty, and EXO, Kitty, has a recurring, undeniable problem with how it writes Black characters. They are either the disposable love interest who exists only to confirm the main character's correct choice, or they are written as antagonists with cartoonish villain energy, and it's gotten worse with every installment. I'm not saying Jenny Han is a bad person. I'm saying there's a pattern in her writing that deserves to be named, examined, and critiqued, because representation done carelessly is its own kind of harm. The Jenny Han world. Here's a brief overview of the franchise. To All the Boys I've Loved Before is a trilogy that was released on Netflix, with the first movie dropping in 2018 and the final movie in 2021. The lead Asian American teen Lara Jean and her primary love interest is Peter Kavinsky. The Summer I Turned Pretty dropped on Prime Video in 2022, and the final season aired last year, in 2025. It follows Belly, the Fisher brothers, and their incestual relations in Cousins Beach. Most recently, EXO, Kitty, which first aired in 2023, just released its third season on Netflix in April of 2026. Kitty Covey's spin-off set in Seoul. Note that Jenny Han has been celebrated, rightfully, for fighting to keep her Asian American leads on screen. She's spoken about pushing back against Hollywood executives who wanted to cast white actresses. That's real and commendable. But representation of one group doesn't immunize a creator from failing another. And that's exactly what's happened with Black characters across all three of these properties. Case Study 1. To All the Boys PS. I Still Love You, John Ambrose. This is where the pattern begins, or at least where it became visible. In the books, John Ambrose is described as blonde with rosy cheeks, essentially the image of a clean-cut white boy. When he was recast for the film sequel, the character was reimagined as Black, with Jordan Fisher taking the role. On the surface, this looks like progressive casting. But look at what the character is actually for. What John Ambrose does in the story. He exists entirely as the second option, the what-if, in Lara Jean's love triangle with Peter. He is sweet, kind, emotionally available, and loses. John Ambrose's purpose within the love triangle is simply to confirm that Peter is Lara Jean's perfect match. He's not a person. He's a plot device with a face. The character in the book is white. The film makes him Black, and still makes him the loser. There's something particularly pointed about that. The perfect love interest, the one the audience is meant to root for, is white. The close but no option is Black. Whether intentional or not, the visual storytelling is doing something. Also worth noting, and I have to give credit to Chris Yezu Lee's 2018 Medium article for bringing this to my attention, the movie added a jarring scene not in the book. Lara Jean and Kitty watch 16 Candles with Peter, acknowledging the racism of the Long Duck Dong character, but giving it a pass because they find the white male lead attractive. So what we end up seeing are two Asian girls excusing the racial clowning of an Asian man because what they really care about is the handsome white man. Interesting. The movie also makes Lucas, one of Lara Jean's crushes, Black, and has him turn out to be gay. So even the Black male characters who aren't the love triangle foil are coded away from any romantic stakes with the protagonist. Case Study 2. The Summer I Turned Pretty, Nicole and Cam. Nicole Richardson. The only Black actor with any noticeable screen time in Season 1 is Summer Madison, whose Nicole is dating Conrad. And what is Nicole's function? She is Conrad's placeholder girlfriend, the warm body occupying his heart, while Belly, who is coded as the real love, waits in the wings. Nicole is sympathetic enough that you feel bad for her, but she is never given a real inner world. She exists to be displaced. She is, by definition, a disposable love interest. And she's Black. Next up is Cam Cameron. He's Belly's brief Season 1 love interest, sweet, attentive, and another character of color used purely as a placeholder. He disappears almost without comment. It's frustrating to see characters of color introduced just to serve temporary roles in the main white characters' arcs. They deserve real development, agency, and emotional depth, not just screen time for the sake of diversity. Shayla, A partial exception that proves the rule. Season 1 gave Steven a meaningful storyline involving racist microaggressions at work, and his relationship with Shayla was a lovely depiction of two Asian characters in a healthy relationship. This was genuinely good. Audiences loved it. And then, during the first episode of Season 2, Steven briefly mentions that Shayla broke up with him, which sets the stage for him to pursue Belly's best friend Taylor instead. Minnie Mills, who played Shayla, confirmed she would not be reprising her role in Season 2, and the character was simply gone. Replaced. The one non-white character, who was actually given warmth and dimension, was written out off-screen in a single line of dialogue. Case Study 3, EXO, Kitty, Juliana, Pravina, and Marius. This is where the pattern becomes impossible to ignore, because in EXO, Kitty, there are 3 characters, 2 black and 1 brown, and all 3 fall into the same traps. Juliana. From the beginning, Kitty and Yuri's romance has a problematic aspect. It makes Juliana the disposable black girlfriend. The longer the show fails to develop Juliana's character beyond her relationship with Yuri, the more harmful this situation becomes. Juliana has an artistic passion, genuine warmth, and real emotional stakes, and the show consistently sidelines her in favor of Kitty and Yuri's central romance. She is the obstacle to be overcome, not a person to be understood. Pravina. Introduced as a sort of solution, Kitty will date Pravina so she stops pining for Yuri. She is barely characterized at all. The show shelved the brown and black queer women without consequence, doing nothing with them after using them for destructive purposes. Juliana and Pravina break up, leading Pravina to fall off the face of the earth so that Juliana can get back together with Yuri. And then there's Marius. Throughout most of the season, Marius acts as an antagonist to Kitty and Q, contacting Minho's first love to make Kitty jealous and insecure, and essentially blackmailing Q about an inappropriate photo. The problem isn't so much the third wheeling of it all. The issue is that Marius is painted with very cartoonish, villainous strokes. An evil laugh and a twirl of his mustache wouldn't feel out of place, and it's far from ideal given that he's the only black character of note. The narrative is quick to villainize Marius for no reason, illustrating how the show constantly portrays its black characters as plot devices or as villains. Marius combines everything we've seen about Juliana and Pravina, a black, queer, unfairly maligned antagonist who is also a disposable love interest, into male form. The cumulative effect across 3 characters in one show is not a coincidence. It is a writing philosophy. Naming the tropes. Let's pull back and name what's actually happening. First off is the disposable love interest. A black character is introduced as a romantic option for a main character, but their entire purpose is to be rejected or replaced, confirming the right, usually white or at least non-black, love interest. John Ambrose. Nicole. Cam. Pravina. Juliana, repeatedly. We also observe the villain/antagonist with no interiority. A black character is introduced with menacing energy, causes chaos, and even if they get a redemption moment, their primary function is to be the obstacle. Marius. Parts of how Juliana is framed. Lastly, the write out. When a couple with no white person, with the exception of Kitty and Miho in EXO Kitty, actually gets traction and audience love, the love interest gets quietly removed, i.e. Shayla. Their departure is treated as an afterthought. These aren't random. These are patterns. And patterns in storytelling are choices. Why it matters. Reason 1. Representation without depth is still erasure. Putting a black face on screen and then using that person as a prop for other characters' emotional journeys isn't inclusion. It's tokenism with a diversity checkbox. Reason 2. It shapes how audiences think. When black characters are consistently the ones who lose the love triangle, who cause drama, who disappear, audiences internalize that. Especially young audiences, who are the core demographic of these shows. Reason 3. It's particularly pointed given the franchise's positioning. These shows actively market themselves on representation of Asian women, of LGBTQ+ characters, of diverse casts. The gap between that marketing and the actual writing for black characters is not just disappointing, it's a form of misdirection. Reason 4. Jenny Han has shown she can fight for representation. She fought for Lana Condor. She fought for the Asian American lead. that shows intentionality is possible. Which is exactly why the pattern with black characters is so frustrating. It reads as a blind spot, not an inevitability. I made this video because I love these shows, the nostalgia, the romance, the escapism. But loving something doesn't mean I can't critique it. In fact, critiquing the things we love is how we push storytelling forward. Black audiences deserve to see themselves in these stories, not as the ones who lose, not as the chaos agents, not as the warm-up acts for someone else's love story. They deserve to be the main character of their own narrative. And until Jenny Han's universe figures that out, we're going to keep talking about it. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please support my channel by liking and subscribing. I post videos like this all the time. Till next time.